That's Boxing special live fight night.
That's
edition.
boxing.
We've got a random assortment of people here. We got Coach. We got Dust. We got Hanzilla. Introduce yourself, Han.
Hey, how's it going? It's Han.
What's
Kim Jong Grilling.
special about? Oh, Kim Jong Grilling.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of that.
How's it going?
I feel like they might be a sponsor of the podcast.
Thank you. About time you guys asked me on.
Yeah.
We're on episode 6.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Long time listener, first time
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Henry. Henry in the house.
Yo,
What's up, Henry? Henry has spent his entire life in a boxing gym, so he's
Yep.
basically a resident expert.
Since I was born.
We got Blanco. Blanco sat back.
I've never been in a boxing gym.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I've been in one once with Dust.
that's true. It's on film.
And he lost.
Well, we just got through watching the Canelo fight, which we're going to get to that breakdown. But of course, if you follow That's Boxing Podcast, you just made a bunch of money. I hope.
Yeah,
Or you're
yeah.
just-
You listen to us. You got the pick.
Yep. But on the undercard, Ramos KO 9th round. Johan Gonzalez looked like the biggest super welterweight ever, but kind of a
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest performance. Definitely a big welterweight.
Yeah.
And just kind of pounded the dude down into the pavement.
Highlight of that fight for me was the commentary by Joe Goosen looking like a leather couch that got left out in the sun for a decade.
Like a hot dog about to pop when you left it on
Yeah.
the grill too long.
Yeah, just real sensual.
Dude's cooked.
Stanionis versus Maestre.
Yeah, they were just trying to see who would be the better heavy bag. They were just pounding
Yeah.
on each other for the entire fight.
Yeah, Stanionis the stronger fighter, but not necessarily the better fighter. But he gets the unanimous decision to become 15-0. Yep. What is it? Figueroa versus Magdaleno.
Yeah, they ended a body shot KO in ninth round.
Yep.
After a really, really terrible fight. Not a great fight at
Not
all.
a great fight.
No.
I was making nachos during that fight. if we're being
Figueroa was a
honest.
notable output puncher who was known for swarming and stopping people, but he hardly threw any punches, and it was a sloppy mess of a fight, and it eventually did end, thankfully, for the watcher, but
Yeah.
not
Wait.
much of a fight to remember.
Is that Figueroa the one that lost to what's his name from Philly? A while ago. Who lost to Inoue?
No, you're
Fulton?
thinking Fulton.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. A couple weight classes.
There is a
below.
brother of Figueroa. There's a Brandon.
There's a Brandon
okay.
Figueroa. That's right. That lost. There was like kind of. He thought that was controversial. Called him out after the fight.
Was it controversial?
No.
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 Yeah.
No.
I
It was
love
great,
it when
though.
it's fake controversy.
Yeah.
You know. Last fight on the card, Barrios Maidana. Mario Barrios drops and defeats Maidana. It's a unanimous decision.
Drops him, but it did go the distance. Yeah, that was a tough fight. It closed his eye up though, so
Which was
Maidana
weird
showed
because it was his rear eye too, right? He's
his left eye,
yeah,
rather his right eye.
and he's orthodox. Yeah, so he was getting caught with
Left hooks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
left
night.
hooks on the inside. There was a lot of damage tonight. Actually, they had that eye closed up there. Magdalena was cut, and earlier in the prelims, Vito was cut too. So the cutmen
Nine
were
for
working
Cutmen.
tonight.
Yeah, you're paying attention.
Yeah, always.
Barrios, he just looked kind of reluctant to me all night. Like he was-
Agreed.
sat back. Like he looked like he could have finished it if that's what he was like. If that's what he was committed to do.
And then it looked like he started struggling towards the last few rounds.
Whatever cracked him that closed his eye up definitely got his respect, and just he was in control.
Right.
But he was losing some of those exchanges, so he wasn't eager to reinitiate an exchange. I don't think he saw, okay, I'm going to get cracked again, and this is starting to hurt a little bit. These guys are warriors. They're giving a post-fight interview like there's nothing wrong with him. His eyes completely closed.
Yeah, and his cheeks were swollen too.
Yeah, he
yeah,
was
it was
beat up a
looked
little
pretty
bit.
bad.
Yeah, there were some of those exchanges that looked rough, fast, quick shots. But then it would go back to kind of nothing with him dominating the rest of the round.
And the jab of the night, by the way, to Mario Barrios. Great jab.
Yeah, he kind of looked like the slickest boxer, to be honest, there in terms of just a complete package. But we'll get to that. The main event, Canelo Alvarez gets the unanimous decision.
As we predicted.
Yep.
Except for me.
You thought he was going to get the stoppage, KO?
He was going to knock out, yeah.
Yeah.
We both wanted the uppercut the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't have been insane.
Did
You can always get
anyone
what you want.
did anyone see it as controversial?
No.
He was dominant.
What was the final scorecard?
So we were scoring it live here, and we had it, and there were 2 rounds where we thought it could pretty fairly go either way, but we scored it 117 to 110 for Canelo, which was one of the judges' scorecards. The others had it a little closer, 116, 111, which I could see that, and then 115, 112. A little close there. But all for Canelo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he had the momentum. He had the cleaner punching, and his defense was impeccable.
Yeah. Yeah, so what got it done for Canelo? How did he do it?
Man, it's just
Landing
intelligence.
at the right time.
I think.
Yeah,
I think he-
Watching, going, and I think he like scouted out the weakness, and then he was like, boom,
Also, like,
and then nailing those big punches, and the weaknesses.
yeah, like every punch though Canelo was throwing was heavy.
I really
Yeah.
think
Everything seemed like deathly
More
accurate and
calculated,
heavy
yeah.
and more calculated.
It's a good term.
What do you think, Henry?
I really think he just needed to adapt because in that third round he got that knockdown, and that really everything from there he was just adapting and he did everything else great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Canelo just looks okay. So I'm like looking at BoxRec, right? So go back a couple fights, right? Jaime Mungia, unanimous decision.
He hasn't had a
Charlo,
knockout in 5 fights.
unanimous decision. John Ryder, unanimous decision.
That's why I told you to pick him by unanimous
Yeah,
decision.
100%.
Judge a guy by his body of work.
Yeah, Golovkin, unanimous decision.
Calculated
Dimitri
on your
Bivol
my
lost,
guy. Yeah.
unanimous decision. And he looks like he knows it. That's the problem. To me, the problem is not that he hasn't gotten a stoppage, is that he's boxing like he's like, wait, I haven't gotten a stoppage?
Yeah.
And he's just like loading up on everything, looking for it, and it's like it's not going to happen if that's all you want.
This fight did give us a better version of him than we saw against Charlo, where he was literally loading up on everything because Charlo was giving him nothing to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
Here he was able to counterpunch and counterpunch really nice.
But was
and
that
crisp.
him or was that Mungia?
Well,
giving
that's
that
just
to him?
Mungia gave him chances to counter.
Right.
And when you counter in a guy, you're more likely to knock him out. When you're leading the attack, like we saw Mungia was leading the attacks a lot tonight,
Right.
it's harder to score a knockout blow because you're activating your opponent's defense. But if you can punch while he's punching, then he's not, as capable of defending himself. And that's when you get the big knockouts. And that's how he used to knock guys out. Look at the clip of Amir Khan. He was middle of a punch when he got knocked out,
Yeah,
So-
or like the Saunders fight when he
Yeah.
caught him right when he was bending over with that
down.
momentum and just broke his face. Literally.
Broke the face bone.
But also, like, Canelo still has that. I think he's still real slippery. I think he's real slick with it still, like, with the, I think he's just real slick, but it seems so much more refined. And we very rarely see that in a lot of boxers.
Okay, I feel like you were calling that out during the fight. You were like, man, and I agree with you. He was turning and taking a lot of steam
Yeah.
off those shots, and he looked slick. But he also looked less twitchy, right? He had less of that when he fought Trout, he had that crazy highlight head movement where it's dude slipping like 10 jabs in a row. Is that gone or is that evolved?
No, I think it's evolved. I think that head movement is very definitive of like who you're up against, right? If you have somebody that's just going to swarm you, and you can predict it, you can kind of see the next thing that's coming, and then just kind of daisy chain like, oh, he's going to throw a jab, and he's going to throw a two, another two, and then a three.
Well phrased.
Canelo is very well versed in that language, but overall, I think Mungia, like, he swung pretty heavy, and there were some times where Canelo just like twisted his head, slipped, and it just took all the steam out of Mungia.
Yeah, a lot of pulling back too and playing with range,
Yeah.
and that was something. I mean, Blanco, you were yelling the whole time, "Get your head out of there!" From Mungia.
I want a recording of that. We could put on like a button.
Yeah, you need that as a soundbite.
He lost. He got uppercut by putting his head in there and then pop, and then he dropped.
Yeah, he didn't box like the taller boxer.
Mm-mm.
He didn't study the Bivol fight, you know. But he started so good with the jab, double, triple jabs, and he was scoring nicely with the jab. But once he was getting countered and started to get fatigued and obviously got hurt, got dropped, the jab went away. And he would just go and lean in there head first and then put his high guard up and wait for the punches to come at him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he got caught fighting Canelo's fight.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard not to in a
Yeah.
moment like that. He
Yeah.
just doesn't have the experience. But every time a fighter loses like this, now he has the experience. That's how you get it. You have to go and get it somehow or the other.
So does he emerge from this a better boxer? What do you guys think?
I think
Yeah, he's
so.
got the touch, man. He's got
Yeah.
the Midas touch. He's been touched by the best. He has to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I think so. I think he's going to be way more confident after this, too, now that he lost to Zero. Like, I have this theory that, like, the Mayweather era of that holding that Zero is, like, coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
I think once, like, either Gervonta gets 51-0, then it's over. or there's just no one's going to have a Zero anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be like, all right, well, we all, like, what, is everybody just retiring after they lose that?
Yeah. I mean, what was Sugar Ray's record? Like 156-1 or something ridiculous like that. It's like, is that a better record than 51-52-0? I don't know. I don't know that the O is. It became a thing because of Mayweather, but Mayweather really curated his career in that direction in order to achieve that. Right.
Right.
It wasn't just that nobody could beat him; it's that nobody could beat him contractually and with the way he played it. And hats off to him; that was very impressive. But I agree with you. I think it's cooler. I mean, it's really you're just a better fighter if you take all comers and you won pretty much all your fights.
Right, but I mean, if you looked at Mungia tonight, came in confident, holding that I could see it on him. When he lost it, his face was a little bit longer than a normal loss. He's like, like the whole career flashed before his last. So I think that's what happens now.
Fact check. Sugar Ray Leonard, 174 wins, 19 losses.
Who am I thinking of? Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Who has one?
Robinson.
I just read somebody's record yesterday.
Yeah, well, Robinson fought in an era where guys would go back and fight
Sugar
again.
Ray sorry. I did Google Sugar Ray Robinson, but I said Sugar Ray Leonard.
Hey, as long as we're not talking about Sugar Ray the singer, okay?
The singer.
Yeah.
Fact checking the fact check.
Fact check the fact checker is good if I'm fact
Robinson
checking.
fought in an era where guys would have a fight like we just watched on TV today, and they'd go do it again in 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now.
Yeah. They would fight up to 12 times a year.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
Sugar Ray Robinson only got knocked out once with 109 knockouts.
109 knockouts is ridiculous.
that's insane. Like, you can't do that anymore, Like, and that's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm thinking is, like, when someone like a fighter like Jaime Mungia, what was his record, 43?
44?
44-0, to come in, like, is there any more room for him to do that? Can you go another 44 fights in a row like that? Is it gonna, like, I don't know. I just think,
No, because we ran through his box rec a little bit, and it's like, who
Yeah.
do you have to fight to get that kind of record?
who do you have to fight to get that kind of record?
Yeah, he's
So-
a Tijuana tough guy, man. He's the best
Yeah.
guy from that scene, and a big guy too down there. And he's gonna come back better and stronger. And he's not only has he been touched by the best with skill wise, but he's fought on that big stage now.
Yeah.
Now he's
Yeah.
familiar to the masses, and he'll be easier to sell to the
Yes.
next group of fight. This guy's look at what happened with Oscar Duarte, who lost
Yeah.
to
True.
Ryan Garcia. Then he's co-main eventing, just a few months later.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like
losing
a
on huge
baptism.
stage is a great step for a fighter.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's like a baptism. You got baptized by Canelo with
Yeah.
that loss.
I just I view Mungia as one of those fighters that's great and not elite. Like I haven't seen anything in his game that makes me think that he can operate at that level, which is kind of okay because who's at that level in that weight class? Canelo, we think Benavidez probably, but that's it.
You're right.
And he's a super strong, passionate, energetic fighter that throws a ton of punches and has crazy heart and toughness, and that's going to get you really far, right? And but there's flaws in his game, and they got exposed tonight, and I think they get exposed at any point that he gets tested at this level or even close to this level.
And there's a whole slew of fighters that in that weight class that are in a similar position. Guys who have lost to Canelo, like Caleb Plant. They've shown that they should be at the top, but then they lose to the top guys. Only the best. Plant's only lost to Benavidez and Canelo. So maybe put him in there and see. The losers bracket of the 168-pound division.
Right, and if you're like, hey, I'm the 8th best fighter in the world at this weight class, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's
You know,
amazing.
in
Yeah,
perspective,
amazing.
but it's not the same.
But is it going to sell that many PP?
I have a
pay-per-views?
small question for you, Coach, and especially Dust, because you guys have actually trained more. Did you think that the reach was like something? Because I noticed Canelo for sure didn't have reach, and there was a couple times where he could have landed some nasty stuff, but he didn't have that space. On the
Like,
other,
you think he was coming
on the
up
other
short
side?
with
Oh,
his
he was
shots?
coming up short a lot.
What do you think, Han?
I think. Well, the thing about Canelo is he doesn't need all that reach. His inside game is impeccable, as you can see with his uppercuts and stuff. And then I
kinda
look
like
at
Tyson style.
Yeah, even Tyson had a pretty. He could still touch you on the outside too, but I think Jaime Mungia, even though he had the reach, right, he couldn't keep him away. You know, like he was still eating a lot of
Right,
punches.
but there was so many missed, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of whiffs on that.
There were a lot of whiffs on it, but I think Canelo's fighting a different game that didn't have to do that much with the reach. I think what was more important is like, I know this sounds weird, but like if you look at Canelo, he has a gigantic head. You're not knocking him out. you look at Mungia. You look at Mungia's like legs. You know, like he got wobbled when he got hit. Like he's got like,
Yeah, that dude.
yeah.
Like Canelo the whole time looked like he should have a cigarette on the side of his mouth.
Right.
Like he was just casually
Right.
taking hits.
He was just casually just eating those punches, and I think once
the
he
punch,
felt the clean punches from Mungia, and he was just like, "Oh, you ain't it."
But it was when
You
he
know?
was far away is when Canelo was just like wasting punches at like whiff city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it would have made a big. I think Mungia's reach could have been a difference maker in the fight if he'd used it more to his advantage. But because he didn't, it didn't put Canelo at much of a disadvantage.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah.
Right? He fought short. I mean, there were a couple times later in the fight where Mungia's best defensive moments when he was actually rolling under Canelo's punches, which was almost funny to see him get that low. And it was working for him, but it's like, man, if he could have figured out how to box long and use his reach and have a little more in and out movement, it probably would have frustrated Canelo a lot. I mean, you run back Canelo Bivol and you see a Canelo that looks totally outclassed, just in terms of total inability to have any effective aggression.
Well, we talked about it in the pre-fight predictions. How you deal with the counterpuncher is you get the volume going, and you throw a lot of punches at him. We saw a few moments tonight where Mungia was successful with that. Long streams of punches had Canelo kind of stepping back, and he wasn't getting hit flush and clean. And maybe a couple shots got through, but it was shutting off the counterpuncher.
Yeah.
And keeping him, you know.
It was a mosquito bite compared to getting attacked by a bear, though. Because he was throwing a lot of mosquito bites where Canelo was just like snapping him, you know?
Yeah, well, definitely the bigger puncher. Huge puncher.
Yeah,
One of the best punchers
that
on
was
the scene.
analogy.
yeah. I think
Absolutely. The big bear.
I think both of them though
Grande oso.
weren't that surprised at each other's. I think maybe Mungia was surprised
I
at
thought
his
Mungia
strength.
was a little surprised.
Yeah, but I think Canelo especially, you could see it on him. Just like he was like, he ain't
He's
got
like,
it.
yeah, you hit me.
He's like, you hit me,
people hit me.
but you don't have it. You know,
Is
like-
that why he wasn't throwing the jab as much after the fourth round after he felt the Canelo's power? Like, is that like probably why he didn't take another round? Just because he was just afraid of the counter punching of Canelo?
Yes, I think that's part of it.
Yeah, they say the jab's the most important punch in boxing. It's the most thrown punch in boxing, but it's also the most countered punch in boxing.
Okay.
So when you've been hurt, when you've been rocked, and you don't trust it anymore, and his legs weren't there. Without your legs, you can't jab in and out of range. You just end up leaning in with the jab and getting cracked.
He looked so clean in the first round throwing that jab. You know, it looked so good. Third round, the first 3 rounds. Yeah.
And coach, tell me if this is your experience. You know, fighter gets rocked and the game plan goes out the window. And that's what it looked like to me, is that Mungia came in there and the first round I was like, this dude's smart. Freddie Roach got this guy ready. This is like the right game plan. Yeah. And then by the third, fourth round, like you said, it's like he just kind of abandoned it and was like, well, this hurts a lot, so I need to, like, I don't know, ramp up the pressure, get him out of there. But that just made it worse.
Yeah, but he didn't go into survival mode. That was the thing about Mungia.
But
he didn't go into
his
survival mode.
That's
you know?
his survival mode, though.
Yeah,
All-out
okay, sure,
aggression
fair.
is
When it gets rough, people go where they're comfortable, and that's where
Absolutely.
Mungia is comfortable, right up in there, close to the guy, right, walking the tightrope. He walked the tightrope for the whole rest of the fight.
He did.
He's not comfortable sticking and moving from the outside. He doesn't spar like that. He doesn't train like that. So when he got rocked, he got up and he's like, okay, whatever Freddie told him went out the window, and he went back to Tijuana 20 years ago, you know, and just leaned into the storm and survived it well. But, you know, watching guys box Canelo used to be like literally watching somebody walk a tightrope. Like, they're going to fall any second. And we're not seeing that so much with Canelo anymore. We see that you can tell he feels it too.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy's not going away.
Which is weird because they say power doesn't fade. So what's faded that he doesn't look like as dangerous?
Well, these are big opponents, that's for sure. The last guy he knocked out was a pretty small super middleweight. Caleb Plant's not a humongous guy.
Yeah.
You know, and Mungia looked like a light heavyweight in there.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Bivol was a true light heavyweight. You know, he was knocking out guys in his early career because he was fighting down there being a weight bully. You know, and now he's saying Benavidez doesn't bring anything to the fight but 20 extra pounds on fight night. Well, he used to be the guy that would bring 25 extra pounds in there. When he knocked out Amir Khan came up from 140 pounds. You know?
True.
Like, that was
And Benavidez said he'd sign a rehydration clause. I don't know what more you can want.
Yeah.
The monies.
Yeah,
The
the money.
monies
But-
will do it.
But it's just the risk, right?
I mean, if he did a 90-10 split, like pulled some Led Zeppelin shit, I bet Canelo would do it.
what did Canelo say he wanted?
200 million.
Is that what he said? 200
He
million?
said for 200 million, I'll fight tonight.
I mean, I'll fight Benavidez tonight for 200 million.
I would do it for
Oh, I'll do
100,000.
I'll do crazy stuff for 200 million.
I do it for 20. I'm an undercut.
Yeah, matter of fact,
That's
follow
not
my
boxing. That's
follow
not
my
boxing.
OnlyFans.
That's not boxing.
All right, so a couple things I just want to talk about. Amazon Prime's streaming quality.
Dude,
Lackluster.
What happened?
What happened?
Main event locked up twice.
First fight was great that they did last time, and this is number 2. No bueno.
No bueno, man. That was
Amazon.
terrible.
Get it
Glitching out
together.
in the main event
Yeah.
is not acceptable.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah, glitching in the final round of an undisputed title fight. Come on.
I don't like how they were trying to make it's prime time a thing.
Yeah. Oh, was that an Amazon
That was-
Prime?
they
Well,
were
also-
just like it's prime time.
Prime time is Deion Sanders, so it's a
Also,
little
Primetime Jet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
it's a little confusing.
Coined the term. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys need to work on your sloganeering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit us up
Sloganeering,
at
nice.
That's
I like
Boxing.
it.
We've got some great propaganda for you.
But they can't say like it's showtime.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, I was hoping to see Jeff Bezos with all the Mexicans in the crowd.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna like airlift him down on some
Yeah.
wireframe thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Introduce
Oh,
him.
yeah.
He had a body double because
Right. And then him and Mark Zuckerberg. You know,
Fight.
12 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the new iPhone.
That'd be good. Do y'all think that when Canelo pops for Ostracine next week and they reverse this to a disqualification, then Mungia will be happy?
I think Canelo's got.
Oh, Ryan
Ostracine,
Garcia.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, I think Canelo's got the money for something that we've never heard.
Oh
of.
yeah, he's got a Russian
And he's
thing.
in Mexico. Come on,
Just-
it's-
they shut up
He's
his
got
butthole.
special tainted meat.
there's something.
Suppository.
I don't think he lives in Mexico. I don't think he's lived in Mexico for a
He
long
lives in
time.
Tahoe,
He
right?
lives in San Diego.
Oh, that's right. He lives in San Diego. Well, he
Well, I'm
Well-
sure he has houses.
Yeah,
let's
he's got
say.
houses.
He's
He's
got different area codes.
he's
I've
got
been
a
to San
different,
Diego.
different like he probably does have a different platter of things that he could do to rehydrate, be stronger, better, faster.
All
you
right,
know?
so top 5 takeaways from tonight's watch party. Number 1, great tacos, Dust. Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Haley can cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out Haley.
Haley.
A
Man.
good guac, a good queso.
The the pork was insane.
The pork was
You need a
amazing.
spread. You know, boxing night, you need a spread.
And
Number
this
2,
was made by all white people.
But somehow it still came out edible.
Nailed the food.
No, takeaway number 2, Mario Barrios, great jab.
Yep.
I'm not. That was
Solid.
Yeah,
great to see that. Number 3, Prime Video glitches, not cool, man. We need a refund on that.
Yeah.
They got to step that up. Number 4, Canelo,
Still got it?
still got it.
1000% still got it.
He's a pit bull.
And number 5,
He's an old dog.
Number 5, That's Boxing gets you rich.
that's boxing. We called it.
That's boxing.
We never get it wrong.
You guys need a DraftKings sponsorship.
Dude, we do. If you bet, we've only lost one pick
Or draft-
so far.
yeah,
and it was
DraftKings.
freaking cheating.
Yeah, we don't even cuss on this podcast.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
freaking.
rated.
I've ruined that.
It was freaking unfair. Well, we'll talk about that and more on Monday's episode.
Monday's episode. We're gonna review what happens in Japan.
Yeah. Are we gonna wake up at 1:00 in the morning?
Do you know the story about what's going on with this? About with Luis Neri?
What's going on with it?
So Neri went over to Japan and came in, beat the guy, the Japanese dude, and then popped for PEDs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he goes back for the rematch, comes in overweight. In Japan, they don't take overweight lightly. If you weigh in over, they'll ban you for a year. But they took the fight. They took the fight, even though he was overweight, and then he knocks the guy out. And then he celebrates like crazy in the ring, and the Japanese culture's like, "Oh no,
right.
sir!" So they banned him for life
Wow.
from the Japanese Boxing Commission, right?
Wow.
And they don't mess around. They ban people for things that don't even happen in the ring. Like if you like beat your wife, a
Right.
former world champion goes to Jeff Beating's wife, we don't respect you. We don't recognize.
Shout
you in
out to Japan.
Yeah.
So
W
this dude
Japan.
Neri's been banned, right? But they lifted the ban to let him come back and
for
fight the
Inoue.
monster.
Yeah.
So the monster has the whole country's like honor at stake here.
Right. They're feeding him to the mouth.
They're
of the
feeding.
lion,
They're
right?
literally feeding him
This
to
is some
Godzilla,
Roman- yeah.
dude.
And they're
That's,
saying like, we
He
have to
said
take
it, not
this
me,
one down.
brother.
I could say that.
I mean, PEDs get looked down on in every sport. So.
Absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here. Neri's no slouch, he's no joke. But if he,
But he's no Inoue.
but no,
No, Inoue's
No,
gonna
no.
manhandle.
I saw that fight.
So our prediction for the Inoue fight.
Oh, we're doing picks already, man. I thought that's
I'm
on
not
Monday.
going to see you till the fight's already over.
That's true. Okay.
So this is the pick for.
All right, we'll have
the-
another
the-
pick on Monday.
Can you,
No, it'll be over. When
It'll
I
be
I
over.
know, not for that fight. I'm saying.
for next week's
yeah,
fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what's your pick? What do you think?
Let's say the monster
Inoue
KO
by
and
stoppage
knock him out in 5.
in 5.
Wow.
I'm
Coming
gonna-
alive, dude.
Wow.
He's coming hot.
Let's look at the line. We don't even know.
I think
This is-
I gotta agree with you, Coach. I gotta agree with you.
alive
I
in
think
5.
now that you told me that about the whole Neri controversy, because that whole country will come together and channel everything into Inoue.
And did you know this is at the Tokyo Dome? It's the second
Yeah, it's the only
boxing
second
match
boxing match there.
ever. And you know what the last time they fought there was?
Tyson.
Tyson, when he lost to Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
So this is like
Oh,
big
this
time
is
shit.
it. That's huge.
60,000 fans
Wow.
That's
gotta-
amazing.
are going to be saying, you
yeah.
got what's coming to you.
And you guys said you can't watch. It's at 1 a.m.
Okay, Henry's picking knockout in 8.
yeah, just like Canelo said,
take a
what would
nap during
happen,
the
but
day.
didn't happen.
Well, I wouldn't watch
That's
it
okay.
anyway,
That's
but
good. You're paying attention.
Inoue by TKO is minus 500.
Yeah, see, I don't try to make you money. I just try to call the fights as they
Yeah,
come,
I
as
think-
as I see them.
But let's find.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge over there. Though.
Okay, Inoue to win in rounds 1 through 6, you can get up to plus 120. So that's your bet.
Okay, that's
Anyway,
my bet.
1 through
1
6?
through 6, yep.
Okay, we're putting our Canelo winnings on that.
Okay, now if anybody could just figure out what time we're supposed to watch this thing, calculate that for me
They
because
said it starts at 1, but
Starts at 1.
it's a decent card.
It'll be like 2:30 probably.
yeah, Jason Maloney's on this card. Inoue's brother's on this
It'll
card.
be like 2:30 a.m.
There's
our
5
time.
fights
Okay.
total in the card. So
2:30
It's Inoue.
a.m.
maybe even later, to be honest. Man, might be,
Yeah,
might
Yeah,
be 3,
it might
3:30
be
a.m.
3:30 to 4.
That's I like to wake up, get the coffee,
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a
just watch it on replay,
Yeah, that's what
15
we're gonna
hour.
do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you Monday morning. We'll sit down and watch it together and just
and then do a
do
pod
our
right
thing.
after.
Yeah.
Especially because it's going to be over in 5.5 rounds. You don't have to sit there and watch.
Yeah, it's a quick.
We got plenty of time.
it's a
Then
quick
I
fight.
got clients at the gym at like 11, so we
Coach
can't
is
be here all
calling.
morning.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
No, you'll be at school.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a 15-hour time difference, so
Yeah. Well, they really are in the
Yeah.
future culturally, time zone wise.
Time zone wise.
I
just
miss
all
that
over.
place so
Yeah.
much.
best
Yeah.
gloves ever.
I think Inoue's the best boxer on the planet right now.
You think he's number 1 pound for pound?
Number 1 pound
above
for pound.
Terrence Crawford.
Nope.
So he's not number 1.
No, I'm saying Terrence Crawford. Nope. Ain't
No.
number 1.
Okay.
Number 2.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Crawford's
With you.
number
Yeah, Inoue is definitely number 1. I
Inoue,
think.
Crawford,
I can't split it.
Usyk.
I can't split it between 3 of them.
Didn't like.
They're all tied for number 1 for me. Those 3.
I got Tank number 1, but that's just because of the community I was raised in.
That's respect.
That's
Appreciate
respect
you.
to
Go
that.
Tank.
No,
Go
Yeah,
Tank.
standing up for him. I mean, Tank. If Tank fights a boxer sometime, if
He's beat some people up.
Listen, I think Tank is it. I think Tank is the truth. I think he's the top 5 pound for pound boxer. I just want to see
You
him
just got to go prove it.
prove it a
Yeah.
little more.
I say he's top 2 entertaining boxer.
Oh yeah.
1,000.
I mean, who
He
who's
can
more
put on a
entertaining
show
than
like
Tank?
nobody else, man. But
He's good for boxing.
What do you think? Canelo,
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Where,
Josh Allen,
This guy
pound
with
for
Josh Allen.
pound.
Yeah.
Good for boxing.
Buffalo Bills fan here.
I think.
What's up, Henry?
oh, I was gonna say, where do you guys think in like the roster of all the boxers? Where do you think like Canelo stands?
So like pound for pound, where's Canelo on the list?
Yeah.
After tonight's performance, I'd put him probably about number 4 or 5.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's tough for me.
He's great. He's
What do
great.
you got? What's better be?
Yeah, that's where.
Weathered.
Yeah, and injured
Yeah.
and old.
He looks weathered.
Yeah.
He said he was number 1 at the end there, but
Yeah, I think Canelo, of course.
What do people have?
Number one, but-
Beevil.
Beeble and Beterbiev are pretty neck and neck there.
They're all
In
like 6,
and
7, 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah, I think better be of those.
But I put both of them above Canelo.
I'm not putting that extra syllable in there. Better Biev, huh?
But,
Yeah.
yeah, Beterbiev. I think is how you
Beterbiev.
actually.
Wow.
But I
You
feel,
I'm not from that
Canelo,
part of the
your
world.
I feel fancy when I say
Eastern
it.
European energy when you try to say it.
Yeah, and that's the last thing we
There
need
would
at
be
this
a-
climate.
Yeah, just
I
don't.
can say it like this on the podcast.
I think though,
He lives in Montreal. You know,
Yeah.
go take a
Ugh,
trip and
despicable place.
Yeah.
but Better Biev has more
Socialism.
knockouts though than Bivol, right? Yeah, he
Beterbiev
does.
is
Nah,
100%.
He's
Yeah,
100%
right.
KO
Yeah.
rate.
I heard they got the best bagel. Actually, beats out New York.
Yeah, so
The
they're
Montreal bagel is supreme.
Different stuff.
Because look, but Beterbiev beats
I love
Bivol,
Montreal, though.
and Bivol
Yeah.
beat Canelo. So both are above Canelo in the.
But how do you judge it by like the weight class thing? You know what I mean? Where like
I just think if you're not
Canelo was fighting up right when he fought. Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, 175. he
175.
moved up.
I
Yeah.
thought we still talk about bagels.
That was the last fight I saw Canelo fight, and he looked horrible in that fight. I heard he was vegan, which is, sorry, vegan community.
pretty much
But
the end
but he took the loss on that one. But he's must been eating his meat this
Painted
go
meat.
around.
Yeah.
He had some iron in him, brother.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
Mungia.
The Canelo we saw tonight clearly isn't going to beat Bivol in any kind of rematch, and is not going to beat Beterbiev.
Well said.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So he's got to
That's
be.
why he's not top.
He's late in the top 10, if anything.
Yeah, and he's on
Probably
the way out,
9,
man. Let's
10.
I got so much respect for him. He's done so much. You go look back at his career. He fought a whole generation of guys on their way out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Floyd and all those
Plant.
guys. You know, Cotto and a whole
Or
bunch of
not,
dudes.
not Plant, Trout. What I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Trout was kind of a young guy.
Saunders.
But, who am I thinking with the?
Lara.
Yeah, what happened to Lara? He went up in weight class and he's still fighting.
He's
just
still
knocked the
fighting,
dude
but,
out the other day.
but wasn't he on the? He was on the back nine when Canelo fought him, right? Am I wrong
He's
about
like
that?
42 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about 10 years older than Canelo. Yeah. So but he's done so much in his career, and that's what he's saying in his post-fight interviews and stuff. He's saying, "I've done so much. Quit asking me to do it. I've done it."
Yeah.
You know, he's on a victory lap. So what? Who is the victory? Like, who does he fight?
It's his
Who
65th
cares?
fight tonight.
Ooh,
Like,
I don't know.
Who does
But
he
yeah,
fight?
or like low
next
60s for sure.
that people are going to care about. Like, who's going to support? I mean, tonight was a great fight.
He has
and it
to
was a
fight
great night.
Benavidez.
And the whole sell tonight was Mexican versus Mexican on Cinco de Mayo, whatever. But you can't sell me that again. Like, there has to be something exciting.
Oh, I think we could sell you that again. Next Cinco de Mayo, he fights Benavidez. You're
Every
not watching
Cinco
that
de
fight?
Mayo.
Okay, well, Benavidez is Mexican American. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a Mexican heritage, but
Yeah. I'm just saying, if I'm Canelo, I'm thinking,
oh yeah,
all right, 3, maybe 4 fights, and then I'm done. Right?
Oh yeah, closer to 3. I mean, like
who's
there
it gonna
isn't
be?
anybody.
I don't think it's gonna be Benavidez. Benavidez has gone to gone to
Oh,
light
he'll fight
heavyweight.
Conor McGregor in one of the.
Don't.
That'll
curse
be
us
like
with
2
that.
or 3
Don't
years
curse us
after
with
We
that.
can't go through that.
Oh, dude, he'll fight freaking Jake Paul versus Logan
You
Paul
said- You're
versus.
speaking names we don't speak on the pod.
These
This
are-
is what happens. You get.
No,
I'm,
it's
I'm
okay.
the pop culture zeitgeist.
We talk about Jake Paul on here all the time. He's legit.
I mean, he's already kind of moved in that direction. To be honest, if the money's right, nothing's about legacy or the right fight to make. And I
He's
don't,
already
I
made
don't
it.
shade him on that at all.
No.
But he's focused on the check, and the check is there. He should fight Sean O'Malley.
Oh wow. What would
Sean
that- what would that
O'Malley
even
thinks
look
he could
like?
beat Garcia in a boxing.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream. I mean, listen, Garcia.
I don't even know if that's true, but let's start the rumor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly says he could beat him.
Oh, he said that. Okay, so I did read
Oh
that.
yeah, no, they've had words.
Yeah.
He was making fun of his shoulder roll on on TikTok. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, well, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Mugira's next fight.
Yeah. What's next for Mungia?
I have no idea, but I think it'll be exciting because he put in the work in this fight, and he really
sure.
he just goes hard and then tires himself out. That's why he got hit by the uppercut because he was going down and then he got hit up by Canelo there.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? Did you see his fight with Derevyanchenko?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That
Fight
was
of the year, man.
That was
Incredible.
fight of the year, incredible. So I want to see that after getting his first loss.
Maybe he'll fight Benavidez.
Who?
Mungia.
No, man, Benavidez going to light heavyweight. He's gonna fight.
No, I think
he's gonna fight. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Vozdik's out. Bivol's in.
Vozdik's out.
That's what I'm predicting. I bet they're gonna pull
Yeah.
Vozdik out and throw Bivol into this fight.
Oh, like they're gonna switch the card up on the
Switch
5x5.
opponent, man. That's a much better opponent.
That's a big ask for Benavidez.
And they already promoting this thing for Prime with him a co-main event with Tank. But
It'll bring
So-
more ratings.
It's a much better fight than Vosdick has been out of the game for 4 years.
I mean, that's an
Yeah.
interesting
That's
prediction.
a damn
but-
walkover for Benavidez.
Yeah, but if that's your first fight at 175, I think that's what you're looking for, right? That's why I mean it's a
Yeah.
big ask for him. But if I'm Benavidez, I'm ready to make 168 at any point in time for that Canelo
For a Canelo fight, yeah.
Period.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
Canelo,
your
it's the
retirement
Canelo lottery. Everybody wants that.
That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. So he's not gonna balloon up and wait and then be like, oh, I can't get down there, and I
No,
whatever.
he'll make it down there.
Yeah,
He's-
he'll be ready to go.
he'll-
So, which
yeah.
means, I mean, they're already talking with Mungia about putting that fight together because it's for Benavidez. It's great because it makes Canelo look worse. It puts more pressure on him. you
Yeah.
know?
Just grabbing a beer.
Yeah, get a beer, brother.
I need another one too. You know where it's at?
We're live, you know.
Did you have that one out for me?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
yeah. That's why I was like, come
That's
say
why I
here.
would have
He's like,
said,
yeah. Well, all right, this is like the worst pound for pound list, most sloppy, But we have a 3-way tie between Crawford, Usyk, and
Inoue.
and
Well,
Inoue.
the way you say them is how you put respect on who you like. So you said Crawford
because he's number one.
So I say Inoue when I start listing them. So that I'd say it's a tie, but I got to read them in some kind of order.
You know what? Maybe Usyk's better than both of them.
Usyk's got to show it on the fight.
When
at the fight.
when Usyk stops Fury, would you
Ooh.
give him? Yeah, that's foreshadowing my pick.
Usyk's number 3
I've
for
already
me.
put my money on that. Already.
Wow.
It's locked in.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. To be honest, I hedged a little bit and just put the
Yeah.
line on Usyk.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
threw a little.
That's what-
on
you
a-
still did it.
I threw a
You
little
still
on the
did it. It still
stoppage
counts. It
because
still counts.
I can just see it in my dreams. It's kind of crazy though. But if he just beats him, let's say he beats him in dominant fashion, is he number one? Pound for
Usyk?
pound.
Usyk if he beats Tyson Fury, no.
No, you don't
No.
put him in number one.
Just
I
for
don't
that
rank
fight,
Fury
maybe.
as high as everybody else does.
Yeah, I gotta
but
agree with you. I don't
Fury
either.
And Joshua twice, and you still don't. Who does he? Who would he have to beat?
Winning a fight never makes you number one, right?
I
Not
mean-
just one fight; it's a body of work. But
Thank you. Yeah,
the
that's
recent
what I
work we've seen from Fury has been less than stellar.
Unless you're like named
Yeah.
the number one boxer of like all time, then it really depends on your style and your opinion of like
No, stay there. You're all right.
your boxer. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely opinion based when it comes. This sport is so subjective. The sport is so subjective that
I
no one
agree.
man can say what's best. You can talk about points, but then the points are up to a person
didn't
to
even know
give.
about it.
So,
But Crawford really shot up there with the one Spence win, and it was a dominant win. Don't get me wrong.
And,
But if Usyk goes out there and drops Fury, if he stops him, he is
Yeah.
number one pound for pound.
that's basically equivalent to what Terrence Crawford did, because he
Right.
was a champion at 140, and then he moved up to 147 and dominated and became champion again, and then in such dominant fashion. But at the time, Errol Spence was ranked higher than Tyson Fury is, I think, in most people's mind.
Yeah.
Fury's
definitely.
been at the top of the pound for pound list forever, but
But he doesn't have that much competition up there. Like, there's not that many heavyweights that are like
his run with
they're
Wilder
super-
will go down in history as one of the most legendary heavyweight trilogies of all time.
100%.
But everything else he's done since is
Pretty boring.
less than stellar.
Yeah, it's been way less than stellar. I think after that, I mean, the reason why he's been reigning that long because there's no one else to fight.
Yeah, that's the heavyweight
You know,
division.
that's the heavyweight division so slim. You know,
The guy's such a monster. They tried to create a new division to stop this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
with the Bridgerweight thing, and it was 220 pounds.
yeah,
and they
what,
made
was
up
it
this
the bantamweight or something? No,
Bridgerweight.
the
Bridgerweight.
Bridgerweight. Yeah,
Yeah, they named it after that kid who saved his sister from getting mauled.
Yeah.
by a
That's,
dog.
that's part of the reason that I put Shine on Usyk as maybe the number one, because he's the only guy going in there fighting somebody with that much weight difference.
But
he's
Usyk didn't have any
actually-
other options though.
I know, but
don't-
that's what I mean. He's actually fighting as
Stepping
a
up.
like pound for pound, as you're supposed to say, right? If we were all the same weight, who would win? Well, Usyk's fighting with a handicap because he's
True.
not the same
Right,
weight,
right,
and he's
right.
still
True.
I mean, him beating Joshua twice in the fashion that he did
That was such great
It
work.
was good
is-
work, man.
is pretty insane.
How tall is Usyk?
6'3", I think.
Yeah,
So, Coach, how much goes into when
It's fact check.
training has to do with weight, right? So if I wanted to fight somebody in a different weight class, like that's got to be a whole different aspect, right?
6'3", confirmed.
Yeah, so for non-heavyweight boxers, the weight is everything, and most people fight
Right.
at basically the minimum weight that they can safely cut their body down to, and then rehydrate for the fight. So typically, for example, I'm 180 pounds, walking around in pretty good shape. So somebody my size would go fight at 160 pounds.
Okay,
I weigh in at, I'd live a lifestyle and be a full time, but I get down to 160 pounds on the scale.
So you're saying those 9 cookies that I saw you eat tonight, that was not part of your
This is an alternate universe where we have a properly operating right shoulder and non-arthritic left elbow.
This isn't.
What about the meth you were smoking? Just joking. That is a lie.
No, that is part of the cut.
Hey, that's boxing, man.
Yeah.
That's boxing.
That's how
I'm up past my bedtime over here in the studio. We usually cut these records in the morning, but we're pulling the late nighter.
I think also like weight has a lot to do with. I think it has so much to do with it because somebody that walks at like 203 plus would have to like if they wanted to really like I think what I'm trying to do like you have to go down. You have to go down to get somebody.
Right.
Most people go down, right? So
most people go down.
Finish my thought.
I guess that's my question.
I would go down to my minimum safe weight to weigh in at. For somebody about like 160 pounds. Most people lose, about that percentage of body weight, 10, 15, maybe 20% of their body weight off of their natural weight. And then they rehydrate, and then they get back in the ring, and it'll be 172, 175 pounds. Now, when you're in the heavyweight division, you don't have to cut weight. I trained a heavyweight amateur for a long time. Man, we were spoiled, dude, because when I'm traveling with fighters, I usually, around fight week, I don't talk about food. We're traveling, we're in airports, I'm hungry, we're on an airplane. I don't say, I never say the phrase, man, I'm hungry. No matter how hungry I am, I gotta get a fucking. I'll go. We're sharing a hotel room. I'll take a walk. I'll go eat.
The weigh-ins already
in the
happened,
parking lot because this kid is starving. But when I'm working with a heavyweight, oh man, let's go eat. And he got 2 of everything. We went to Popeyes. I tried to keep up with him. He got 2 of everything. I was like, shit, I better get 2 of everything too. I can't eat like a heavyweight.
That's why I fight a heavyweight.
Yeah, so
take the pressure
heavyweights
off.
But you've seen sometimes it doesn't go their way. They bulk up to try to get some something to wrestle with in the ring, but it slows them down. So
Deontay Wilder.
Usyk's bulked up quite a bit since he debuted back in the day against Witherspoon, and where he didn't look great in his first heavyweight fight, but he's looking more strong and more solid, dude.
Yeah, he looks real solid.
Well, he stayed light on his feet.
Yeah, so his feet is his game, right? You take his feet away and
put
he's
on
got
a
no
ton
game.
of weight, right?
Well, that's why I'm curious about like a little bit what I call the dark side, like right, like so when I mentioned like the White Devil earlier and like performance enhancing drugs and stuff like that, like I want to know like on the backside of boxing, like how much people are like doing this to make this happen, or you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so there's all kinds of drugs
like
that,
the White Devil being performance enhancers.
Yes. So a ton of performance
enhancing drugs, yeah, and
They're
also
not
like
for-
the weight thing. So I was curious on the dark side of it all, right?
Yeah, so a lot of performance enhancing drugs that people pop for are not for looking like a bodybuilder. It's for cutting weight.
Cutting weight, okay.
Yeah, it's for recovery. A lot of these guys take recovery drugs that are illegal because they get you back in there quicker. But man, you want to talk about the dark side of boxing? We'd have to do a whole special.
Yeah, there's a
whole special.
might be
event.
a 3-part
That's what I
series.
like.
There's no such thing. It's a completely uncorrupt, beautiful sport full of science.
The history has
And-
no Mars.
No Mars.
No issues whatsoever.
I mean, yeah. Somebody watched Lencho's fight last week, a couple weeks ago. We see him back at the gym, and they're kind of don't know shit about boxing, and they're like, "Hey, man, that can't be good for him getting hit like that." I'm like,
Yeah,
what? Like, of course not. Like, and we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
None of this is good. This
not
is all
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's our motto. It's all bad.
It's all bad. That's
That's
Back to the.
bad.
those are the things that really intrigue me, at least about like the sport. Is like same with football, for instance. Like the performance enhancing and like who's doing what, right? Or how much is natural ability. You wonder about that with boxing as well.
yeah. That's a huge part of it.
I love that ESPN just did like a ranking of sports on like whatever 10 plus categories, and they gave a weighted average to each category to determine what the quote unquote hardest sport is. Right.
Right.
Boxing was number 1 by far.
I think
Right,
all
for
the
sure.
categories too.
And yeah, just the weighted average of their score and all the categories, and you can see it, right? Because obviously the conditioning is unparalleled, combined with speed, combined with agility, but also power.
But
right?
there's no boxing season.
There's no.
You
boxing
have to
season.
do it the whole time.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just don't
24/7.
Yeah, just
That's
doesn't
tough.
stop.
That's tough.
There's no off season.
There's
Well,
no.
I feel like we
off-season.
packed like 15 episodes into this one episode. But
1000%.
that's good.
How does he have a bunch of idiots on?
That's
Or
what
ending,
happens
like,
when we drink and
15
do a
minutes
podcast.
ago.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had a microphone. I was just standing over here before.
I
And
think
it
you were
was
leaning in.
just-
It was tight.
Yeah, you
I
know.
saw that.
Well, I'm about to go do some shucking.
But I am very curious about like things like that as far as like the enhancers and like how much in the boxing world it affects.
Well, we're gonna dive into that.
Yeah, at the higher levels of boxing, there's so much going on.
Right,
Snack.
totally, yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out Snack.
yeah.
Because
Mr.
just
with
even
the
watching that fight
cream in the
tonight,
clear.
you
Yeah.
know, I was like, how did you rock out for 12 rounds that heavy? Like that blows my mind. Like I know a lot of people that are like great athletes, and that's a lot.
I mean, I run a decent, like for an average human being, right? Run a decent amount, jump rope, ride the bike, all that kind of stuff. And if we do 3 light, just playful rounds,
Yeah, it's bad.
You're done.
I'm like, oh, yeah,
Cooked.
I might die.
Yeah,
It's
cooked.
50-50.
Yeah, your
So when you
calves,
see
your
people-
calves lock up.
Yeah, it's amazing because I think the mental stress and the
Yeah.
dumping your
Fatigue.
adrenaline and everything, it's just unbelievable to be able to be at more or less 100%
Totally,
output
yeah.
for 12 rounds plus is you don't really get an appreciation
No.
for how hard that is until you try
No,
to.
and it doesn't transfer through the TV what's actually really even happening there. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a dark side to it. But these guys, that you see on television, these 12-round fights, they've been doing this since they were children. This is all they know.
Totally, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this
That conditioning's unmatched.
yeah,
I was-
it's just a lifestyle that's
Yeah.
ingrained into them.
Again, with the adept vocabulary.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the
it's-
conditioning is a very well.
Yeah, the
well said,
conditioning, and then I think also like, yeah, I gotta agree with you. Like it's insane to think that like, it's like that meme when they're just like, I work out every day only to find out that I look this mid.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like I can't believe I run like 12 miles a week or something, and I gassed out in round 2.
Yeah.
You're like, it's crazy.
But you could have gassed out in round 1.
But you could have just not even stepped in there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
you
gas out in 30 seconds.
you
No,
you cook
22
too, so you know how
seconds.
certain people are
Sounds
like,
right.
oh, that's a hot pan, and me and you could grab it,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's
like
conditioning. Yeah,
we don't give a shit.
yeah.
Like,
No, it's true. It's very true.
so that's conditioning for me. It's like Burns. It's like
It's like this consistent abuse.
it's the hot pan of boxing,
Yeah,
if you
it's
will.
a hot pan of boxing. True.
You know,
All right, well, let's wrap this one up with closing thoughts. Canelo, stock up or down?
Unmoved,
Unmoved?
Agreed. Unmoved.
Unmoved?
unmoved.
steady line on that.
Blanco?
Down.
Canelo stock down.
Down.
Hot take. Somebody had to say it.
Someone had to say it.
Up.
Just because I never like people with red hair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say up.
Up? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're leaving Canelo unchanged then. That's just a tie right there.
Okay.
Mungia, stock up or down?
Way up, man.
Way
Up.
way up.
Yeah.
I put him up 2 points.
You can't lose on a night like tonight.
You guys
Yeah.
are
He
crazy.
He got up off
Way
the
up.
canvas, showed heart all the way through.
You guys are
True
crazy.
Mexican
He
warrior.
had a lot of heart in that
100%.
fight.
We already knew that.
He never stopped.
We already knew all that. Mungia stock down. He showed that he's not ready for that. He's not.
What did you think was going to happen? It happened
I
exactly
think
how I thought it was going to happen.
Exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
think he was ready for it. He's not ready for it, so his stock
Yeah, yeah.
went down.
No, his stock went up because he has something that you can't get anywhere else. He has experience.
I don't think.
Canelo already had that experience many, many times. He's had that experience on a grander scale. That was a lesser experience than he's
Alright.
capable of
I
doing.
like that take.
I think
So,
I think
yeah.
we watched him
That's
get
how I feel about it,
baptized
too,
tonight.
yeah.
He's just went up a tax
His
bracket.
stock is up to the brothels in Tijuana. And
Tijuana.
they'll let
Tijuana.
you know whether his stock is up or down.
Michoacan.
Beautiful, beautiful man. Beautiful punching. Jabs.
Great job.
Beautiful.
For the first round.
He's fighting Canelo, who's one of the greatest fighters of all time of life. So
Facts.
But even
Alright.
like Henry was saying, after round 4, things
Yep.
plummeted very
All
quickly.
right, well, your
Soon as
stocks
he
are up.
dropped,
Your
yeah.
portfolio's up. And that's because you listened to us.
That's boxing. I'm Coach.
I'm Dust. That's boxing.